Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB bikini pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. Happy Friday, everybody. Today, we will be chatting with an athlete and petroleum engineer who turned pro in 2018 at her very first national show, the North American Championships. Then she ended up placing 6th at her first pro show in Japan, which is so amazing. So welcome to the show, Celeste Shaffer. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. Ooh, I like that intro. You gave me goosebumps. I'm excited.
That's awesome. I love it. And, as I kind of briefed you, we're going to get into a lot of awesome stuff that I've got planned. But what's one thing that you think about right before your heel hits the stage?
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh, it probably involves some profanity. I
It's
give
allowed.
myself,
I mark
I
all
give myself,
explicit.
I give myself a little boot up the butt and just get out there. Honestly, I mean, you practice so much, and there's only so much you can do. Just let it go.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really good. And just kind of let it go. That's a really nice way to just feel free when you step on stage too. And when you look back on your history in competing, you started in 2012, then you took a
hmm
5-year break before you actually got into it again just last year. And then you ended up turning pro, placing 6th at the Japan Pro Show. Like, this is all crazy. Like, so what prompted you to, first of all, take the break starting in 2013, I believe it was?
Yes. So actually, that was definitely career related. There was a little bit of a downturn in oil and gas, and I just really wanted to focus on my job, and that was just super time consuming, and I absolutely could not do both at the time because I was also in my young 20s, so I didn't have the maturity that I do now. I
Wow.
hope that answered the question.
Yeah, what kind of maturity are you referring to?
Just balance, priorities, managing your time, your relationships, whether that's with people or with food or the gym. So it was all of that that just kind of culminated to me taking a break. But I'm so glad I did because honestly, the bikini division developed so much between 2013 and 2018 when I came back. Like my body style back then, I was always very muscular. I did well. I made it to nationals, placed top 3, almost got my pro card.
Wow.
But my body style just wasn't in. I was always kind of the odd girl out. And so competing in 2018, that's why I went pro so fast. I fit right in. I had the muscle maturity, and I just kind of took it and ran with it. And I had a great coach. I had a great background. Always lifted, been an athlete, and I had my diet down, and it just clicked, really.
That's awesome. I was actually going to ask you about like the muscle amount that you have, like where that actually developed from or came from, because your look, like I was looking through your Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh, like you turned pro and like on your, you had posted like check-in photos and I was like, yeah, you looked like a pro, like you look like a pro. And obviously back in 2012, that look probably would have been way too muscular for most of the judges.
Oh yeah.
Progressed well. I had a feeling you probably were able to hide it.
hmm
So where did that muscle come from?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I am insanely blessed genetically. My grandma calls it Polish stock. Um, my family, all of the women are we. If you look at like my family photos, we are jacked. Like we just are. But also, I've been lifting since I was in high school. So since I was like 17, 18 years old, I've been lifting. I did a little bit of CrossFit a few years ago, put on quite a bit of muscle. And honestly, I'm always having to take some off. It's
Wow.
it's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, back in 2013, I was always told like, go figure, go figure, go figure, and I did not want to. I was like, no, I'm gonna do bikini. I don't care. Like I'm gonna do whatever it takes to stay in this division because I like it, and so I did. Just there's a criteria for bikini, and I was pretty determined to fit it.
Wow, I love it. And now that's come pretty naturally for you. I love that you said genetically jacked. That's awesome. Totally like an advantage in this sport, but also that's not to undermine your hard work and dedication because anyone can have
Oh,
genetics and not actually take advantage of them or make the most of them. And you obviously have from being an athlete and lifting since high school and doing some CrossFit as well. So I want to kind of backtrack to when you said you did take time off and you don't regret it. You actually are really glad you did. So did you ever think you would compete again at that point in time?
no, I wasn't quite sure because I was doing very well in my career. I just bought my first house and I was doing really well.
Wow.
And honestly, I just kind of I missed it. I had, I just moved, bought my second home, and I was unpacking some boxes and came across my suit and my heels, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, and this is like the old suits with like the big fat bottoms, like now they're like
Hmm.
thongs basically. So I was like, oh my gosh, I miss this so much. So that's when I reached out to my current coach, and my goal actually wasn't even to go pro. I mean, I feel bad saying that, but honestly, I just wanted to get on stage and maybe do like a fun photo shoot for my 30th birthday. I had no idea I would even get this far. Like, I didn't anticipate this at all. So I was super surprised.
That's awesome. I think it's funny you say you feel bad because I'm sure there's a lot of people listening like, all I want is to get my pro card. She just got it without
It
wanting
it is, and it's like, and it's a whole new ball game. I just kind of like, I mean, it just happened. It's just timing, really. And I mean, like I said, I just, wasn't really planning on it. It just sort of happened.
I love that. There's a lot of great things in life that happen without expectations. And um,
Oh,
now that you are in the pro league, do you feel like you're gonna keep riding this out? Like, are your goals to continue to compete? Do you have like a fire in you? Like, where's your head at now that this has all just happened?
oh my gosh. So yeah, no, I definitely want to compete. I'm actually in a really busy season of life right now. I've got a lot going on with work, and just I've got weddings stacked through the summer. So I'm working with my coach right now to figure out a game plan because I would love to step on stage pretty soon. And I'm prepping now. I'm just not 100% sure what route we're going to take here, but we'll see. There's shows that I do want to do, but I was actually recently reminded that at this time in the pro league with the point system and the Olympia, I have to stop playing checkers and start playing chess. So
Hmm.
I do have to figure out a few things now, and this is all very new to me.
Yeah, absolutely. That was going to be my next question. I love how much this is flowing. This is awesome. So,
Good.
what are some of those differences you've noticed, in regard to the game planning, which you just mentioned, but like what is the approach now versus where you were at before with the NPC?
So with the NBC and even my first show in Japan, I was just kind of like willy nilly, just, oh, I want to go here and I want to go here. And then now it's like, okay, you have to do maybe the right shows in front of the right people, depending on where you land at your first, show this season, maybe do some of the tougher ones. Cause I mean, there's certain girls that no doubt about it, when they show up, they're going to place top five. And
Mm.
if you're a rookie, if you're like an unknown, it doesn't really matter what you look like. Like you might look better than them or whatever. It's just like you're an unknown. Like you're a wild card.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you say that. And do you have anyone that comes to mind specifically when you think about like when they show up, they're going to place like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like when I went to Japan, I looked at the lineup and I knew these girls were gonna get like top three. I was like, these are Olympians. Like there's no doubt about that.
Like Brina
So I'm
and
like, actually,
Ashley.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Ashley for sure. I like she's kind of one of the reasons I also did that show too. Like I wanted to stand on stage with her. I was like, she's amazing. Like if
Oh.
I'm gonna be compared to anybody, like I don't, diamond cuts diamond, so let's bring it on. Um,
That's awesome.
but definitely. Oh, for sure. So yeah, no, that's definitely been something that's kind of new and enlightening to me. I know that I'm gonna have to put in some time, maybe pay my dues, make some adjustments, and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, totally. And it's interesting to make that transition because when I think about being an NPC athlete, which obviously that's the stage that I'm in right now, I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
you have strategy, of course. There's always a strategy that goes into this, but you also have a little bit more freedom to just, I want to do this show. I'm going to do this
Yeah,
one. And as a pro, I imagine like when I just follow the pro shows, I'm like, oh, this one looks awesome. This looks super fun. I love the location of this one. And then I think back, and
mm-hmm.
especially like you said with the point system, it's like it's it's uh it's like, what is the word that I'm looking for? I guess you put it well with the checkers versus chess thing, but it's really not
Yes.
about it's always going to be enjoyable, but it's more about be so strategic. How are you going to get to the top?
Mhm.
There's a certain pathway. If we took action step A and then we took action step D, it doesn't make sense. But if we do A, B, C, D, it's going to make sense. It'll get us there. So obviously
Definitely.
you've done a pro show. Yay. Awesome. It's under your
Yay.
belt. Treated like a celebrity over there.
Oh
So
gosh, no.
yes,
girl,
I
girl, nobody,
saw
nobody
that.
knew who I was. Nobody knew who I
Yeah,
was.
that's the beauty of being an amateur though. You get to show up and just be like, what's up? I'm here now. Like, I'm ready to
Mhm.
show up. And you're obviously humble. And what are some of the differences though that you noticed among the physiques, the backstage activities, or even like pre-show events?
Oh my gosh. Well, something I wasn't expecting was it was the athlete meet and greet. I didn't know that was going to happen, and so I wasn't prepared to like stand around a little booth with like a little name tag and everything for like an hour or two, and I was like, "What is going on here?" Um, because I mean, it was so cool because I mean, it was the first pro show in Japan, and so it was like there was so many people there. I mean, someone told me like in the thousands, and I was like, "There's no way."
Holy
But
moly.
people would come up and like take pictures with you and like give you presents, and I was like, "This
See,
is
that's
so
being treated like
cool."
a celebrity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by presents, I mean like a pack of ponytails. It was really cool. Um,
Even better.
or something. So that was something that I wasn't actually expecting. I was like, nobody told me about that. And the check-in procedure, like with an NPC show, you just like roll up, get your tags, get your goodie bag, and you go home. This one, like you sit around, they give you a briefing, and they call out your name like individually, and it takes forever. Like, oh my gosh, I was not ready for that either.
Wow, that's so interesting to hear. I'm actually used to having like NPC meetings where it takes a while, where you're sitting in a room and that, but never, obviously, they don't call out our names, but we get in like a
Oh
long
my
line.
gosh. Yeah, the ones in Texas, it was like, just show up and grab your bag and go. that was
Wow.
that was pretty cool. But yeah, and then backstage, I would say it's a lot more calm backstage. Most girls are like, chilling, they're with their coach. The environment I would say is a lot more relaxed than an NPC show. Nobody's running around yelling looking for number 12 because she's off nowhere to be found. Like everyone's pretty much like on point, they're on time, and it's amazing, honestly. Like that's actually really, really nice. And everyone's super nice as well. Like everyone's there with like the right mindset. They're there to compete, and they're also like super friendly, which is great. But I'm not gonna lie, everyone shows up looking on freaking point. Like it's insane. Like you're like every single girl looks great backstage. Like everyone could be first. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how am I gonna like stand up here with these girls like when everybody looks so good? Their conditioning is amazing, their hair and their suits and everything. It's a little bit intimidating, but it's fun at the same time.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's pretty cool to hear you say that because it's not only showing that obviously there's a difference between NPC and IFBB, but there's also what can sometimes still carry over is that level of looking around and going, I'm gonna have to compete against these people. Everyone showed up looking their best, and obviously in the NPC there's a lot more people who are new or trying things out or not sure. In
Yeah.
the IFBB, like the professionals, right? So um,
Hmm.
you guys also have a bit of a process in regard to like getting into the shows, and I'm so happy that I have you on this show because now that you are new into the IFBB Pro League, you have like a fresh outlook on this. So can you explain to us the contract system or what it's like to actually get to do a pro show?
Oh, yeah. So you do have to sign a contract for a show. And typically they're due, I think it's like a week out. And so when you sign a contract for a show, like you commit to that show, and you're going to do it. And I'm pretty sure there's a fine, like if you don't.
Wow.
So it's definitely, yeah. And you have up until I think it's like a week out, and you can kind of decide if you want to do a show or not. And so literally you don't know who's going to show up until like freaking peak week or something. So you can do multiple shows, like if your schedule allows it, and just boom, 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 sign up for it. So that's definitely new and exciting. It's not like, nationals or anything where you have to register 30 days out. It's something you can do like a little bit more spontaneously, but at the same time, like when you commit to it, like you have to go.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that actually. I like especially how you just said um you can have a little bit more time to decide, and that must also be why a lot of the women that show up looking their absolute best because maybe some of them were waiting and waiting and waiting until they knew it was going to be a good time to actually start peaking, which
Oh
is
yeah,
just
that's gonna be me.
right? Especially if you have that opportunity, I would definitely be taking advantage of it too. Not that we don't, we always pay a late fee in the NPC, but at the same time,
Hmm.
well, it's a little bit more serious of a league, I imagine, in the pro stage. So, um, you said earlier you're trying to get in front of different people. You're really getting your feet wet, basically. So
Yes. Oh
now that
yeah.
you understand, like, there's like this strategy behind it, do you feel like there are things you didn't expect about the pro league that now you're kind of learning along with this, or things that you're like looking to help you develop a strategy?
Um, Nothing specific at this point. So I haven't had a chance to compete in the States yet. So I'm kind of working on selecting a show to kind of make my debut in the States and see where I fall there. Because one of my feedback from nationals, or the North Americans, from the head judge, it was actually to just go for a pro show. I didn't really get feedback. It was just like, don't put any more muscle on, and get in
Mm.
front of, pro stage. So it's kind of what I did in Japan, but it was I think I really need to do that in the States to get more of a feel for where I need to go and what I need to do. But as far as the strategy, that's kind of all I have for now.
No, that's
'Cause like I
awesome.
said, like a super busy season in my life right now, and I'm just kind of like figuring out what I can do. But luckily, I can like sign up for it a week out and show
Yes.
up.
Exactly. Exactly. You can stay ready and decide. So,
Yeah.
you have a lot of muscle, which we've talked about, and you often don't really flex on stage. I believe I've read this in a few of your posts or
No.
heard you talk on
Yeah.
like I'm curious, like what do you do then? Like when you're up there, what are you focused on? Because I'm sure there's people listening who feel or have been told like tone down the muscle. So what do you do to do that?
Honestly, I don't really pump up a whole lot. I just kind of like chill, really. The final week before I leave to go anywhere, I don't work out a whole lot. I just kind of like calm it down, tighten up, don't work out my muscles too much. And then on stage, I don't flex anything. I just kind of stand there.
Wow.
Honestly, I just suck it in.
I wonder what you'd look like if
Suck it.
you flexed up there. Like,
I'm pretty sure there's like a video. I think the Boston Mass put it on YouTube, but there's like a little dance party in Japan. We're all on stage. I flex there, and I look freaking jacked.
that's awesome.
I
I'm
just
gonna
try.
check that out.
I try not. I just try not to.
So you suck it in, basically.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Just like relax everything. Just kind of like let the arm hang there. Pop the glutes a little bit. But that's really it. I just try not to really just look too hard or anything because that's one of the drawbacks of being really dense and muscular is like you can easily look too hard or too lean or too granular or too angular or something like that. So that is one of the drawbacks of having quite a bit of muscle. It's hard to I guess achieve that rounded bubbly bikini look, and that's what I'm currently working on now.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are some of the things that you're doing to get that look?
I'm doing a lot of actually a lot of like banded exercises, like not really touching a whole lot of weight. Maybe a little bit on like glute days, but a lot of banded stuff and lots of like high reps, like high
Wow.
volume type of things. So that's been really interesting. I feel like I'm in like a Richard Simmons like like class, just like dancing around. It's like doing jumping jacks with bands and weird things like that. So it kind of looks silly sometimes, but I think it's really working. And I've definitely made a lot of progress on like the glutes for sure. And it's just been a little bit lighter weight, a lot of volume, a lot of isolation. Try not to work out my quads or hamstrings too much. So it does kind of suck because like I love to like lift heavy, and I've never other than CrossFit, I didn't really get to challenge myself too much. Like I wanted to see how much I can lift, and I've never done that before. So, and I still don't get to do that now. So it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So I know some girls who have actually chosen to stop competing for that exact reason. Like there's certain things that they feel are out of their control or things that they want to do. Like for example,
Hmm.
some girls will be told like obviously to tone down the muscle or not show as much of this development, and then they don't want to. So they decide like they're kind of tired of it. So what's keeping you in the game? Why do you want to keep going?
Because I mean, I love the stage, honestly. It's something that's helped me through all aspects of life, especially confidence. So I really do enjoy it. And I do, um, obviously, going pro pretty quickly, that's a gift. And I definitely want to use that. I don't want to like waste it. So I want to see how far I can get in the sport and, definitely keep going with it and just see where it takes me.
That's awesome. I love that. I love it.
Hmm.
And there's always time, and right now it's like you're capitalizing on this opportunity you've been given, which is super
Hmm.
cool. Um, you only just recently got into social media. This is something that I think is interesting.
Yes.
We are so used to just seeing that this is what we scroll through on the daily. My feed has completely transformed since I've become more involved in the competitor world. All I see are
Yeah.
competitors. So um, since joining, have you noticed any benefits for yourself as an athlete?
Definitely. No, I've had like new, like, for example, Metabolic reached out to me and they're sponsoring me now. So that's really cool. So I get that. But yeah, no, definitely seeing like what everyone else is doing and like what shows they're doing and how they're looking and how they're prepping, like that's really cool. But honestly, I'm super new to it, so I still have like cupcakes and puppies all over my Instagram. So
I like
I don't
that.
really know exactly what I'm doing, but I'm working on it.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool. And the fact that you got a sponsorship from it is so interesting. It's like in the very early stages for social media, you found sponsorships from magazines. Like you'd literally pay to have an ad in a magazine. And now we have this opportunity to do it for free and get noticed. We don't necessarily have to go pass out business cards at an expo or a show. Um,
Yeah.
so that's super, super cool. And the fact that you were able to get a sponsorship, you're also just developing online, it's benefited you.
Oh,
Uh, you
I
know,
know. I'm so surprised. I was like, you guys know I have like 800 followers, right?
yeah, that's something I think people get confused on is like, how do you get a sponsorship with less followers? They think that they can't. It's like this limiting belief a lot of people have. So, what do you think made you stand out? Or what did they say when,
I
you know?
I honestly have no idea. I should probably ask them. Maybe they saw some potential because they got a hold of me like before I even went to nationals. I was
That's awesome.
super surprised. I was like, "What? Like, what do I have to do? Like, I don't know."
Mm.
So that was definitely very, very surprising to me because I mean, I was like you. I thought, you had to have like a lot of followers, which I don't really know what quantifies as like a lot right now because I'm still fairly new to this. But I did tell them, I was like, you guys know, like I don't have a lot of people on here. Like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. We like it.
Aw. You know what? Ignorance is bliss, right? That's the thing.
Yes, I like that.
It's so true, especially in this case. I think when we start bombarding our minds with like the limiting beliefs or these negative things we've been taught, especially by marketers, for example, or gurus, right? Oh, well, you have to do this in order to be successful. Well, no, I could just be myself, and just see what happens. And obviously, taking action is really important. Getting on social media helps you to land that type of a thing. But at the same time, not knowing that what a lot of followers is, that's great. There's nothing to compare yourself to. Obviously, as you get on there, I'm sure there's new goals that you are probably setting for yourself, but at the same time it's like, man, that wasn't never your main focus anyway, which is just cool. Why did you join social media? Was it to see like what was going on?
Yeah, so my sister and my brother-in-law had one, and I would out and like I love memes, like funny memes. And I would always like grab their phone and go through it, and they're like, "Why don't you get an account?" I was like, "I don't know what I do with one. Like, I don't know. Leave me alone. Just let me go through your phone." So I would actually just scroll through theirs, and like we would just like laugh, and like go through the funny memes and stuff. And I was like, okay, maybe I should like get my own. So I did, and now I just laugh and look at the memes by myself. So
That's awesome. That is so cool. I mean, a lot of us are just seeing competitors every day, and it's easy to get caught up in the idea that all competitors do day to day is eat, train, post on social media, get paid by their sponsors, or get sent things. But in reality, many competitors are actually really busy and have demanding careers. And for you, being an engineer, actually, it's one of those demanding careers, and it requires a lot of education and, of course, commitment to your job.
oh,
So, how do you
oh
find
yes.
competing and being an athlete actually adds to this part of your life?
Oh my goodness. How it adds. It adds like 4 hours in the gym. That's what it adds. But well, luckily, like I've always kind of kept up with the lifestyle of bodybuilding. So I've always brought my lunch to work and went to the gym after. But definitely at this point, it's like playing a game of Tetris every single day. Like I have to wake up at like 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning to like get my cardio done. Sit in rush hour, go to work, sit in rush hour again, go to the gym. Sometimes I don't get home till like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and I just pass
Mm.
out. So
Wow.
it's really definitely very, very hard, especially when I have to travel for work or I have a big project. It's a little bit stressful. So and like that's what's going on right now. Like I've got some like pretty tight deadlines, and my coach and I we're working through it because this cortisol levels like, woof, girl, we can just
Oh,
add some craziness to your life.
you can see it, you can feel it. Your body like shuts down. It's crazy.
Yes. Oh yes, definitely. I've definitely like that's probably where I'm at right now, honestly. That's definitely something I'm new to, especially in the pro league. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, like when you're trying to compete and like your conditioning, like if you think you're lean, like you're not lean enough. Um, like you really have to get there. And just when you have all these other things going on, it's like, oh my gosh, like it makes a huge difference. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, no, it's just like a balancing act, or not even balancing. I'd say just priorities. Like you literally have to pick A, B, C, D, what you do every day. And for me, it has to work like clockwork, or something's gonna go.
Mm. Yeah, and what do you do when you are traveling or when you have these big projects?
Ooh, oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it's definitely decision making. So number one, it's get the project done. Work comes first. That pays the bills.
Hmm.
So that definitely takes priority. But it's definitely preparation is a big deal. So when I leave the house every day, like I have all of my meals with me. Like even if I make it home and I can like cook fresh or something, I still bring my meals with me. I bring workout clothes, I bring posing shoes, I bring a swimsuit. I'm literally prepared for an Armageddon situation in my truck. So it's a little crazy for sure. And then when I do travel, I'm very good at traveling like on airplanes and long road trips with my food. So if you're prepared, it's really not a big deal. And then, just bring some pre-workout and hit the gym late. That's all I got to say.
I
Just
love
get
it.
it done. Yeah, just get it done.
That's awesome. Such a priority in your life, regardless of what's on your plate. And to be
Mhm.
really, just honest with you, it seems like you're able to bring such a serious yet laid back approach to competing. And this, I
Thank
don't know
you.
exactly. You're welcome. I feel like there's no other way to put it, I guess. I thought about it a lot when I was planning this. How am I going to say this? But, many of your
I
posts
like
are,
that.
I'm glad, a serious, laid back approach. You're just
That's
really
how I
positive.
feel.
Yeah, you're positive, you're uplifting. You have this like stress-free vibe. Obviously, you just mentioned, there are things in your life that can cause your stress to go up, but what are
Mhm.
because you take it so laid back, like basically what inspired this question was I would see that you might do like a workout outside, like, oh, I left the gym, just gonna go outside and do this workout. Like for me, I feel like I've never ever thought that way. So I'm wondering, what are your preps like? Like, is this similar to your improvement season as well? Yeah, just fill us in on that. How do you do it?
Oh yeah. So for me, honestly, I like to be really flexible. Like I'll get whatever I need to get done, but I'm kind of flexible about it. I'm like, okay, maybe it's like the engineering mindset, but it's like there's a problem and a solution. And your solution can be all sorts of different things. So it doesn't really matter to me like where I get my workout done. It's just like, how do I get it done? Just, you just kind of do it. And then also if I'm not feeling something, like I won't do it. Like, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. If I go to the
Yeah.
gym and I'm just like, I don't feel like being here, I won't be there. But I
Mhm.
will get the workout done in a different way. And that helps, whatever's going on in my life. If I'm stressed about something, that helps take care of it a lot because I'm doing something I want to do. Like, no matter what it is, like, there's always a way to like manipulate it and kind of make it a little more enjoyable. And that's been the great thing about working with my coach Stephanie. Like she's all about that, like which is great. She's like, hey, as long as you're moving, like it's cool. So that's pretty great for sure, and that's helped me out quite a bit. And then off season, honestly, I haven't really like taken one to be honest. I
Mhm.
mean, I kind of did. I had some weddings, some Cancun action, workouts on the beach, that sort of thing. But actually taking like a long time off, not really. I haven't really like done that. I just kind of like kept doing what I was doing like the entire time. Nothing really changes a whole bunch. Just when I'm in prep, it's maybe a little more cardio. That's it.
Wow. So your diet is pretty much the same throughout both?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's fairly consistent. I mean, like when I took some time off, maybe a couple months, like I threw some cookies in there, but honestly, it's like the same foods. Really pretty much the same thing. I'm pretty good at like eyeballing stuff at this point. So,
Mhm.
and I really go by feel, if that kind of makes sense. Like I've been doing this, even though I haven't been competing for that long, like just recently again, like intuition is pretty big with me. So I just like do a little gut check on like what I should do and how I should approach things and what I should eat, maybe what I shouldn't eat. It's all about making decisions. Really it comes down to it. I'm not like a big, I don't know, like emotional person. So,
Mhm.
nothing really like derails me too much. Like I'm just pretty consistent, I guess.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super awesome because you found what works for you and it's
Yeah.
supportive of your life and your lifestyle as well. And I totally feel you on if you don't want to do something, like don't do it. I feel like it's just not even effective anyways. There's a level of not wanting to do something and obviously pushing through it, having the discipline and the willpower to be like, I'm going to do
Hmm.
honoring your goals enough to, but you find a way to make it work.
Oh, for sure.
And I think there were times in my prep where I was like, I don't want to run on a treadmill. So I'm going to run outside in the mountains and be free. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's
Yeah, Sound of
different.
Music, that stuff, girl. Sound of Music. Like twirl around in the mountains.
For real. Like, that's how I see it in my head, but I probably just look like a dying squirrel or something. Like, looking for like a place to hide.
Oh my gosh, no.
I'm totally kidding. I look like a beast.
Wild lioness. Oh my gosh. No, I totally feel you. Like that's exactly what I mean. Is like, just switching up a little bit and make it enjoyable. Because in the end, like you want it to be like sustainable. Like this is, I know people say it's a lifestyle, but it's really a lifestyle. To make it work for you, make it sustainable, make it enjoyable. If you're not happy, like do something about it.
Yes, I love
So.
that. And you recently mentioned that you learned a lot about your body from various shows, and you were able to just really figure out that you were able to eat your way into a show on peak week. And then, like every peak week's been different for you. So, what are some of those various approaches you have taken, and how did you learn those lessons about your body?
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, every prep has been different too, and it depends on what's going on. But at the point where I got to literally have like 3 or 4 cheat meals like before stage day, like that was insane. That was my fourth show for the year, and I kind of did them, back to back. I did the two amateur, the national in Japan. And at that point, I'd been competing kind of straight on, and I just kind of at that point, my body just kind of needed it. But yeah, no, I've done the traditional, like tilapia and asparagus, and then I've done like, steak and potatoes sometimes, and then finally in Japan I got like pancakes, burgers, like you name it.
Damn.
I just kind of got it. So it's been different every single time, and it's something that my coach and I were still figuring out. So it's not all going to be like sunshine and rainbows pancakes and burgers. It's not always going to be like that, but we did figure out that at a certain point, like I could handle that, and so that was pretty cool to learn for sure. But I definitely expect something different maybe this year, and it's just your coach and you just have to kind of figure it out and stay in tune with your body, and your coach will keep an eye on you and just let you know what to do. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Were you ever afraid, like as your coach was saying, have pancakes
I
and
was
mm,
I was like, "Are you sure? Like, I brought rice cakes." And she was like, "Nope, go for it." I was like, "Really? Like, can I put queso on that?" I'm like, "For sure." Uh, so that was I was definitely nervous about it because I've never done that before, and like I see people do it all the time, but I just see bodybuilders do that. Like, I didn't see like a bunch of bikini girls doing that, so that was definitely new for me. And then even then, like I could have filled out a little more on Japan. Like that was one of my
wow.
critiques from the judges was I could have come in like a little fuller. I was like, really?
You're like,
Like
you
I
know how
tried.
much I
Yeah,
ate?
I was like, I can't eat anymore.
That's so awesome. I love that. I feel I've never ever personally been afraid of being told to eat like something when my coach is giving me the order to. I'm just like, yep, on it. Like I got you.
uh,
But at the same time,
oh my god.
times where I'm like, oh, do I get nope, you don't get fries. Okay, it's fine.
Oh my god.
No problem. Like I'll be okay. And I know like every prep, every peak week's different. And like you said, your coach is gonna know. And I think as an athlete, you're gonna know too. And something I
Hmm.
always just to my clients in general, not I don't give competitors training or nutrition or anything, but I do help them with food freedom and healthy relationship with their body as well. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that something that's super important is making sure that you're aware of not you specifically, Celeste, I'm talking about like all of us listening. It's like we have to be aware of the things, the thoughts that we have about what we eat, because it can play so much of a role, like almost just as much as the food itself. Like if we're thinking about how amazing and good this burger is going to fill us out, it's like, yes, it's probably going to do a way better job. Likewise, if you're thinking all the time, any type of stress, right? Oh, I have to do all this prepping.
Yeah.
And it's just not an enjoyable thing, right? So getting to enjoy
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely. It's kind of like muscle mind connection. It's like food mind connection.
Yes.
Um,
And you're so intuitive that that's something like I'm sure comes pretty naturally for you.
oh, for sure, girl. Yeah, no. Ever like after 18 and like food just like didn't like dissipate from my body like it did in college. I wasn't a size 0 anymore. I definitely kind of like started having a honestly to me like I started having a better relationship with food and like watching what I ate, being just like cognizant of like how much I was eating. For sure, because like I'm a little person. I'm like 5'4". So, I
Me
can't eat
too.
like a six. Yeah. Oh my gosh, twinsies, and we have the same name. Like,
I
shut
know.
up.
What the heck? What's your middle name?
Patricia.
Okay, no. Mine's Michelle. I thought this is going to be really
Oh,
weird.
dang. That would have been cool. That would have been cool. But yeah, like we're small framed like girls. Like we can't eat like 6'4" linemen.
Yeah, why not? Only I guess for you going into
Yeah.
that one peak week.
Oh, true, true. Only in Japan the one time.
No, that's pretty
But not
awesome.
all the other times.
Yeah, it's true. We learn so much about our bodies through this, and things do change. I look back at times when I was young. I'm still young. I'm 22, but I look back on times in high school where I was like trying to really like I got into fitness and like the bodybuilding lifestyle back then. And I was like, I probably would have been just fine having not manipulated anything and just focused on lifting, compound movements and like being engaged. But I learned so much about myself, and it developed me into the person I am today. And you yourself have been through some interesting things in your life, and one of those things was actually last April when you had an ovary taken out, and then you went on to compete in June, July, and August, winning your pro card. Why did that happen? How did it impact
Oh
you?
my gosh.
What was this whole
That
experience
was
like?
like that was like the worst pain ever. Like I
Oh
went to
man.
the ER like 2 times. Like I got a lot of morphine, which was great. That stuff's amazing. I can see why people get addicted to it. But they did not know what was going on, and like over the course of like a few months, like I was in like pain like crazy, and like I didn't want to be a little bitch about it. So I was just like sucking it up and like not really telling anybody. I was like, okay, it's just like cramps, but I was like throwing up on the floor.
Oh man.
And I was just they're trying to put on like a straight face about it, but eventually like went and did an ultrasound and they're like, yeah, that thing's like dead wrapped around something twice. We got to take it out. And like at the time, yeah, it's crazy. At the time, I was working with Stephanie, and we were just kind of doing some lifestyle dieting. Like I wanted to do a show. We were just like doing the prep before the prep, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey, like I'm gonna have this sucker taken out, but when I'm back, like let's get after it. So I got the clear from a doctor and just like went back into training. And again, like I watched my nutrition. I didn't go eat like 10 Halo Tops or anything like that. So I mean, maybe I did, but I don't remember.
The morphine
That
was
and the Vicodin,
fun.
yeah, the Vicodin and the Halo Top just went really well together. But yeah, no, I just kind of like got after it and just um I just got over it and just went straight into competing. And I mean, I had some like scars that you could see like on stage and stuff, and I was kind of like conscious about those. I was like, oh my gosh, like
Wow.
then he makes fun. But just kind of like kept going with it and got over it and got my pro card and everything. So that was pretty cool. But that was like a weird setback. I definitely wasn't expecting that, and it kind of like was a little bit earth shattering because I was like, what's going
Yeah.
on? I'm gonna die.
Oh my
But
gosh, I
it
bet.
just everything. Yeah, it was weird, weird, weird. But I got over it and just kind of went on to do my thing.
What were
So
some
that
of
was
the
cool.
lessons
But
you learned from that experience?
oh my gosh. Number one. Okay, before like when you get insurance, check and make sure that the ER is covered under your insurance. Don't go to one that's not covered under your
Oh my
insurance, because that
gosh.
is like, yeah, yeah. I didn't know that was a thing. I
Great
was like,
advice.
I just like, yeah, I like called my mom. I was like, which one do I go to? I was like, I don't care, just take me to one. Don't do that. So like
Uh-huh.
right now, while you're healthy and you're alive and everything, just like look up maybe in the neighborhood where you should go if, in event something happens.
Wow.
um,
Really
that
good practical advice. I'm gonna do that right after this.
that's like that's probably the biggest thing, honestly. Other than that, like listen to your body when it starts to like really go out of whack. Like go to a doctor. Don't do what I did and like roll around on the floor for a couple months. Um,
Yeah,
definitely go
probably
get
good
go
advice.
get checked out. Yeah, for sure. Just go get checked out. That's my two bits of advice.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think those are some good lessons you took from that. So, on the topic of advice, obviously, and I know you've listened to the show before, so I'm going to ask you,
Mhm.
what is some advice that you would give to newbie competitors, people who have never competed before, thinking about competing, and then, of course, advice for competitors who are on like the prowl for their pro card?
Ooh, okay. We'll do the pro card first. I would say
Okay.
be patient. It's all about timing and it's all about who shows up. Because I know there's so many people out there that are just going for it, going for it, going for it. Like, go for it for sure, but like take a step back and like evaluate, see what you need to work on, like look at the pros, like see what they look like and try to achieve that look. And it might take some time. Don't be scared. It's gonna take some time. Um, that's what I have to say about that. Because yeah, it does depend who shows up and who you're standing next to for sure, and that can really throw a lot of people off. Like, I mean, it's crazy. I've seen girls that are like have been doing this for a very long time. Not to be like discouraged, but like definitely have patience.
Real quick
Getting
question
some
on
faith.
that. Do you think
Oh
that
yeah.
do you think it's better to take time off until you start looking more and more like a pro, or do you think it's better to continue to step on national stage, taking some time off in between those shows to make minor changes? Like, what do you think would be? I mean, it's just kind of person to person. I get it, but
No,
what
that's
do
a
you think?
that's a great no, that's a great question because I've heard a lot of people are like, "Oh, you have to get in front of the judges, get in front of the judges." Well, in my case, no, you don't. Like, I took a really long break and I just popped up in there. So I don't think that's really an issue. I think, in my opinion, it might be better to come in with that look that you need. Like, take the time off and come in guns blazing and get that pro card.
Yeah, totally. I think that, yeah, it's very interesting. I feel like that's something that people might go back and forth on, like you said, but I think that's
Hmm.
great advice. And obviously, your physique was undeniable, right? At that point.
Apparently, I don't know, but sure. No, I mean it had to be because I mean I just kind of like showed up in front of some of the head national judges, just kind of like did it. So I would say definitely, in my opinion, that would be the route to go. Is like get the physique that is a pro caliber physique and go in there with that. And like once you have that physique, get in front of those judges, maybe repeatedly and tweak some things until you get your pro card, but definitely come in there with the right package and not just be like a repeat over and over and over. Just like get in there and like have what you need to have to get your pro card.
Love it. And what about for the
For sure.
newbie competitors?
Oh my gosh, I would say have fun. I had so much fun like last summer competing. Like, I don't know if you saw like some of my posts. I had my friends, my family,
Yes.
like I seriously, I had so many people show up and I just had fun with it. Like we went out to dinner afterwards. It was definitely something more for fun and, definitely um, get like before, if it's like a first time competitor. Oh gosh, girl, I got a good story on that one. Um,
Let's
get
hear
a
it.
coach, get a coach for sure that's going to walk you through everything that you need to do. My first show in like 2012, maybe, I didn't have a coach. I went and got like a Walmart off the rack suit, and I went and got a dark tan. Like I went to dark tan to
Nice.
get a spray tan, and they go, "Ma'am, which color do you want?" I was like, "Oh, just give me like the darkest one," and it was nowhere near dark enough.
No way.
And I went to like a quinceanera store in Houston and got these like clear plastic heels. I didn't have
Oh, wow.
jewelry. I didn't do makeup. I didn't do my hair. Like it, and I've never been to a show either. That would be a good one. Go watch a show first. Um,
I love that. I've
and
never
like see what these.
competed, so I went to a quinceanera store.
I didn't like. I really didn't. I mean, I got dead last. Like last. I'm like last call outs. Last person called out. Those kind of call outs. it was so bad. Like I didn't know what I was doing. So after that, I got a coach obviously that like just did a total 180. Like girl, I was telling you, I was eating trail mix and Taco Bell like for my first show. I did not
Wow.
know. I thought abs were fake at that point. It was quite ridiculous. But yeah, definitely a lot of lessons learned. But yeah, I would say have fun with it, and definitely get a really good coach in your corner that's going to help you achieve the goals that you want, but in a healthy way for sure.
I love that. And I love those fun, like, first show stories. I think they're just hilarious.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, you could not
one
go.
day I'm not like brave enough yet, but one day I'll put a picture up on Instagram.
This is your
Like you will
accountability
see.
challenge now. Your
It
episode's
is. It is.
releasing. Let's see, your episode's gonna be releasing in April, I believe. I don't even know. I have a list, but now it's not in front of me. But whenever it comes out, like we're gonna expect that within the first week of it coming out. It's your
Oh
accountability.
my gosh. Oh, okay, okay. Got it.
You're like, oh my gosh,
Got it.
all of my archives have been deleted. I can't find my dog
I'm
ate it.
sorry. No, you can probably Google it. It's out there. Like it's the interwebs. Nothing gets lost.
Yeah, that's another fun topic.
Oh gosh,
But
yeah.
that's super cool, and I appreciate all that advice and you also sharing that, and just everything we talked about today. I feel like you really educated us, and there's a lot of amateur competitors who are serious about going pro, that just love the sport. You love the stage. You mentioned you keep doing this because you love the
Yeah.
stage. It's given you so much, and I know there's a lot of people listening who feel the same exact way, and I've
Yeah.
appreciated your time, and I'd love for everybody to be able to reach out to you and say thank you for your time as well. So can you just let everyone know where they can connect with you?
Oh, thank you. I guess like my Instagram. Do I have to like tell you what it is?
You can tell us, and then I'll put it in the show notes.
Oh my gosh. Oh well, I
You
can't
know what
even
it
tell you
is?
right now. So
I'm just kidding.
I think it's like Celeste Shaffer. Yeah, girl. Oh, that technology
I
thing I was
have
telling you
it.
about.
I
Celeste
got you.
Shaffer,
Celeste
IFBB
underscore
Pro.
Schaefer. It's Celeste
Yes.
underscore Schaefer.
Thank
I
thank
love it.
you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Yes. So see, now
Oh
no
my
one will
god.
forget because we had to say it.
Now I
I
won't
love
forget.
that. Yeah, exactly. You're like, should I change
Oh my god.
it? Yeah, but
That,
regardless of
is that right?
whatever it is, it'll be in the show notes. So everybody listening, make sure you go to www.celestial.fit/podcast and check that out. Of course, as usual, there is a category section. So if you're listening to this far in advance, you can go back and look at the categories, or you can always type in on Google Celeste Shaffer Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast, and it'll come up for sure. So with all of that being said, I hope that you all have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, wherever you're on the world where you're listening to this episode. Just make it awesome.